Okay, we're on chapter 9 of Jenney's first year Latin. We're going to be discussing third declension I stems. Before we can decline them first, we need to be able to recognize them. So here's our chart. It is on page 86 if you have a book, recognizing I stems. So let's see if we can put that in there. Yeah. Recognizing I stems for masculine and feminine. That should be above it. For masculine and feminine, if it ends in es and is in the nominative singular and have the same number of syllables in the genitive singular, like e.g., remember that's exempli gratia, hostess, hostess, masculine enemy, or kidus, kidus, and that should be ES in the second one. Let me fix that so you're not copying the wrong thing. Sorry. Right. Kides, kidus, feminine murder. Number 2, ending in NS or RS in the nominative singular, e.g. infans, infantis, masculine baby, or mors mortis, feminine death. Third, if it's one syllable whose base ends in 2 consonants, like nox, noctis, so you have the CT, feminine night. So that's again on page 86, and that's for the masculine and feminine. Neuter nouns ending in AL, like anima, I bet you can't figure out what that is, or E, mare, C, they also are I stem. So I'm going to hold that up for a second and then erase it and show you how to decline them. These are I stem third declension nouns. Okay. Let me erase that, and we'll do an example for the masculine and feminine and do an example for the neuter. Alright. So we have the singular and then the plural. Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative in our charts. Remember, we usually don't do the vocative in our charts. We will learn it, but we don't usually have to write it in our charts because it's not something that is generally done unless because it's generally the same as the nominative. It does change when it ends in US or IUS, which we've learned previously. Okay. Is very similar to previous third declension, which we've already learned. You'll just see that the I will pick up in a couple of places. And that's why it's called I stem. And you'll see where that is in a second, as soon as I pick up the thing. And I chose to use mors mortis, feminine death. You get mortal from it, because that means you die. It's a derivative. Think of other derivatives. You can write that down in your notebook. So we have mors, mortis, morti, mortem, morte, mortes, mortium, mortibus, mortes, mortibus. Notice the I picks up in the genitive plural. Notice that. Okay. Mors, mortis, feminine gen. Okay, we're also going to do animal to see how it changes in the neuter declension. So we do the singular and the plural. We're going to do anima. So that's anima, animalis. And I know they write it all the way down, but I like separating like this. That's the way I learned it, and I think it's more understandable that way. They use on mare, which means see, but this gives you another chance to see a different example. Remember, the accusative and the nominative are the same, but in the what you'll see in the neuter, you will see the I pick up a lot more in the declension. You'll see it a lot more. I'll point it out when I pick it up. And as you figured out, I'm sure that it means animal, and that's also the derivative. So in the singular, it goes animal, animalis, animali, and then, oh, sorry, I didn't write down the ablative. Hold on. Here we go. So it's animal, animalis, and the dative is animali. So, and the accusative is animal, just like in the nominative. And then the ablative is animali. And in most third declension, it would be an E, but the I is picking up more in this I stem. Okay, and the plural is animalia. You're picking up the I there too. And in the genitive, it's animalium. So you see the I. And animalibus, animalia, because it's the same as the nominative, and animalibus. So I'll hold that up for a second so you can have that up there. And that's the way you decline animal, animalis, neuter, animal. Okay, keep on page 87 and we'll discuss the vocabulary. We have anima, animalis. We have kiwis, kiwis. Venus, Venus, gens, gentis, hostis, hostis, and you get hostile from that. Ignis, ignis, masculine fire. Ignite is a derivative. Mare, maris, and that's sea. And the Mediterranean Sea was called Mare Nostrum, our sea. That's what the Romans called the Mediterranean Sea. Let me write that down for you in case you're not getting it. I need you to know what they call it. It's also going to be a geography question. And I know you like geography, so the Mediterranean Sea was Mare Nostrum, our sea. Then we have Mons, Montes, mountain. Mors, mortis, we already said mortal comes for that. Naris, nawis, feminine ship. Panis, panis, masculine bread. Pons, pontus, masculine bridge. Urbs, urbis, yeah, it's pronounced more like a P. Urbs, urbis. And in the word study, with the genitive possession or possessive adjective, civis may mean fellow citizen. So civis meus, my fellow citizen. Fines may mean territory in the geographical sense. In the legal sense, when the actual ownership of the land is considered territory, is ager. Hostis, you get hostile from that, I already said that. Both hostis and inimicus may mean enemy. Hostis is the enemy of the state, a public enemy. Inimicus is a personal enemy. And that's a distinction you need to know. So decline the following. And they have Mare Nostrum on page 89. And you need to remember that's Mediterranean Sea, the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Tomorrow we will read the translation. It's more about the Trojan War and Aeneas rallying the Trojans. And if you know anything about the Trojan War, that doesn't help because the Trojans lose. But that's something that we'll look at. And then I'll assign you what exercises you'll need to do after read the translation. But until then, voila.